Hey everybody, this is another video explaining Xert and MPA, which stands for maximum power available. And you see on the top left I have a metric there, MPA, which explains how much power I have available at any particular time. In this video I'm going to spend 5 minutes going over the graph of MPA in relation to power just in about another 30 seconds. And then I'm going to show 3 different clips related to hard efforts during this ride. So if you don't want to hear the explanation over kind of like a PowerPoint slide, go ahead and skip to the 6th minute. Otherwise, listen to my little lecture here on what's going to develop in the ride, and then you can see it actually play out on video as I explain what's going on during the ride. So that's the MPA for you. Stay tuned. So this is the Xert screen that shows the activity, the group ride that I did, and I just wanted to show the story of what this ride was like for me on Xert. So, starting off normally, this is where the group ride actually started, where I have the cursor right now. And it's usually not too bad of a rollout, but you can see there were some efforts here which dipped into my MPA, which is this blue line up here. And I'll fast forward. We got to about right here, and this is where I got in the back of the group and was dropped because the light turned red. Half the group went through on the red, and because I was in the back and wanted to stay alive, I missed the light and the group went away, and there were just about 5 of us left or so. So this is where it became a little bit more of a TT effort to see if we could catch on, if we got lucky with the lights. And we can see that, there were some decently hard efforts in here that I was going above FTP. And I dipped into my MPA a little bit. And so you can see this purple line here is the degree of difficulty over time. And as you go, the difficulty increases, or it can decrease if you get a lot of rest. But anyway, so we ended up taking a shortcut, and this is manifested here. We go on the shortcut up here, so we didn't go on the full route. And then we're headed south here. And it's about here that we catch up with the group, or the group rather catches up with us. And this is where the video will start in this section of the ride. So this is where the meat of the action is, and you can see that I had some significant efforts here and had a breakthrough effort manifested by the green diamond, as well as efforts in the yellow. So let me blow that up a little bit. So I will select this section, and we can see what it looks like. So this was an effort to bridge to 2 people off the front, and we'll have that in the video. And I'll probably skip all this part of the video, and then we get to Renner Road. This is where Renner Road starts, where my cursor is now. And there were some efforts here. This is, I think, going up the hill at Breckenridge. And then finally going pretty fast here. And I have a breakthrough effort right here. And I believe this is where Sam takes off, bridging up to a couple people in the front. And I'm desperately trying to get onto his wheel, not feeling it, really having to dig. And I actually achieved a breakthrough effort there, which changed my signature. So let me blow that up a little bit. So this red line represents my power 5-second average, and you can see that my power actually goes above my maximum power available. So I broke the model, therefore the model must change, and that's why I got a different signature. So you can get what they call fake throughs on this, in the sense that perhaps you haven't done some rides, your fitness is falling in terms of how Xert perceives it, but really you do have the fitness, you just haven't done a really hard ride. Kind of a frustrating thing about Xert, actually. You can set your decay, fitness signature decay settings to different things. I actually have it on the no decay, but we'll get into that some other time. Anyway, this is where the ride was getting really difficult for me. You can see that my MPA really dipped down here below 400 watts, meaning that I couldn't theoretically produce more than 355 watts here at a full effort. You can see here that I kind of fall off a bit, and not having to put out power there. Maybe we were at a light, 0 watts. So, and then a little bit later here, and actually I just threw in the towel here. I didn't have anything left. Here I am going really at my MPA, So this indicates, so I was just cooked on this ride. One thing that was beneficial was looking back at Xert and saying, did I really have more to give, or was I, did I just fail because I was having a bad day or whatever? But it looks like I did put out a very good effort for the fitness that I do have, which gives me some comfort. Even though I got cooked and couldn't match things, I was putting in efforts that may lead to adaptation, and it wasn't just a mental block or something like that. So that's what we'll go over in this ride, but I just wanted to give a brief display of what this looks like in Xert and what we're observing in the MPA as we go along the ride. So there it is. So this is the first clip, and we just made a right turn onto Murphy Road. We have a slight tailwind or cross tailwind. The forecast was at 3 or 4 miles per hour. So you can see that the speed is pretty high. We're at almost 29 miles per hour. And at 0% grade here, we're going to take a very slight downhill, and then we're going to be going over 30 miles an hour. So what's going to happen in this clip is that there's going to be a couple of people who go off the front. And then teammate John puts in a pull. And then Clint, the guy who's right in front of me now with the yellow and black and red bibs, he will take a pull. He'll flick his elbow, and I'll go by, and then I make the bridge. So we get to watch the MPA as this happens. My maximum power available is just over 1200 when I'm perfectly fresh. And just by way of background, my FTP, according to Xert, after this ride is 293 watts. So again, these numbers are going to be different for different people. Just by way of kind of background, I'm a master's level Cat 3 racer, just to give you an idea of a little bit of maybe what those power numbers might translate into. But again, numbers don't mean everything. Anyway, here we go, and this is exactly what's happened. John's pulled off. We see the elbow go by there, and now it's my turn to take a pull in the front. You can see we're going, I guess, a little bit downhill, but pretty soon we're going to be going a little bit uphill. And the flickering lights up there ahead of me, those are the 2 riders that we're trying to catch up to. So wattage right now just above 400 watts, closing in quickly on these guys. My MPA is rapidly falling. My heart rate is going up, so it's ticking up almost 160. For me, 160 is pretty substantial. I don't have a very high peak heart rate. So on my teammate's wheel here, and we have closed the gap, and I had to put in a significant effort. So the MPA dipped just below 700 watts. For me, that is pretty significant. When I'm on a trainer ride and doing an Xert workout and my MPA dips to 600, I am really feeling it. That is not trivial work. You've really dipped into your reserves to, at least for me, to go to that level. Of course, later in the ride, we're going to be seeing the MPA go quite a bit lower than that. And that will be where the fitness breakthrough takes place. So here we are, we're stopping at a light, getting a little reprieve, the MPA rapidly increasing. So we're on Renner Road here. This is more towards the end of the ride. We've fast forwarded quite a bit. And I'm not perfectly rested. You can see my MPA is below 1200 at 1144. I'm in the very back of the group. There's no one behind me. We're about to take a little bit of a small rise, a hill here. And this fellow in front of me, James, he's one of my teammates. And what he's going to do is keep his momentum up when the whole group is slowing down. He's going to go on the left, on the leeward side here. So whatever little bit of wind there is coming from the right side. And I just decided to take a free ride. Now, when I say free ride, this kind of hurt a little bit. This wasn't easy. It wasn't like I just rolled to the front. And here you can see that we're going up a little bit of an incline here. It's kicking up to about 4% right now. And as we hit about 600 watts here, my MPA is decreasing. So the principle here is that when you go above your FTP, you are dipping into your reserves, you're emptying your sink, your water, your potential energy. It's going out of the sink and going out, and depending on how fast you let the water out, that's how fast your MPA goes down. So we get once we're at the top of the hill here, we're going to hit a red light, and James comments to me that we did that perfectly. Look how many places we made up very quickly on the ride by just keeping our pace up. Everyone had to work going up the hill. So this is after the light, and this is going to be the part later on where I have a fitness breakthrough. And again, I'm not perfectly rested at this point. I've put in some hard efforts earlier in the ride, and actually some kind of like TT effort as well, because I got dropped at a light earlier in the ride and had to take a shortcut to catch back on with the guys. But we're going downhill here, and I'm just taking it easy. I didn't have the greatest legs on this ride, and you can see that eventually here I will be dropped just at a certain point. So there goes Clint on the left. You can see he just tears right by, putting in a nice dig. There goes Sam as well, and Robert on the left as well. So there's some moves being put on here, and now these guys are responding, and I have to respond as well to stay on these wheels. And so here's one match burned right here, going above 800 watts, 500 watts, 400 watts, and so forth. You can see my MPA is dipping quite rapidly as I go into my reserves. There was one of the riders who had just taken off. Now he's going to take a bit of a rest on the right side there. And the rest of us keep motoring on, and it does not get easier. It's going to get harder in just a little bit. But right now, there's a little bit of a reprieve, as just a moment ago I was below my FTP, but now I am above my threshold power at 500 watts, trying to stay on wheels here. Staying a little bit towards the left because that's where there's a little bit of shelter from the wind, but really this road is pretty sheltered from the wind with the houses and that fence on the right, so it's not as big a deal, the crosswinds in this section of the ride. Yeah, so let's see, how fast are we going here? 24 miles an hour, a little bit of an incline here, 2.6%. I really like this part of the road for putting in effort, but at this point I felt like I didn't have the energy to go to the front, to put in a pull, to go into the wind and so forth. So there's Clint, he had put in that big pull. He's fallen back a bit. Presumably he was at the front. It's hard for me to see because I wasn't up there. And this is James, the guy that had pulled me up the hill in the earlier segment. There's Kenneth on the right, teammate. As you can tell, I have a lot of teammates on this ride, and that's because our team is based in the area of this ride. So it's fun to race with people that you know and get to know over time, and that live near you and that you do rides with. So that's kind of the principle I've used. Up ahead is Chris. He is in the white and orange kit. That's sort of we have two kit colors. That was the second kit color, and he's a new member of our team. Very strong rider. And there's another teammate, John, on the left, putting in a move. So people are responding. There goes Noe. And again, I'm not responding. I'm letting them go. But pretty soon, I will feel compelled to respond and do something. And this is where I have a fitness breakthrough as measured by Xert. So Chris moves a little bit over to the left here. James is going to respond. I'm going to let a gap open up, and Sam is just going to jump right in there. So if you'll wait just a moment, James is going to do a little kick, and then Sam goes. Boom, fits right in. Slots right in. I slot in right behind Sam. So at about 600, 700, 500 watts now, MPA rapidly decreasing to now below 800 watts. So, you're feeling lactic acid, at least I am at this point. And I don't have a lot of kick to give. So here we go. Me trying to stay on Sam's wheel, closing the gap. I'm above my MPA. If you can go back and rewind if you'd like, but my watts went above my MPA. So this wasn't a case of a fitness breakthrough occurring with an MPA at like 400 or 350 or something like that. This was a fitness breakthrough that occurred when the MPA was at like 700 or 750 or whatever, and my watts were like 800. So for whatever reason, that really, really hurt. It really hurt to get to Sam's wheel and put me in a world of hurt. Actually, Sam has a video of this ride. I'll link to it in the description so that you can see what it looked like to have Sam go and me in my totally non-aero position, which I need to fix on this bike, which I haven't been fitted for. And this continued to hurt. You can see my MPA is now below 500. It's, 450. This is in total pain zone, eyes bugging out, teeth hurting, all the kind of stuff that, happens when you are really riding at the limit. And I felt good about the fact that Xert tells me I got to my limit and I was at my limit or near my limit at this point. But it doesn't feel so good to get, dropped, feeling totally fatigued and wiped out without the ability to hit another acceleration. I did a workout the night before, the Xert Taxman workout, where you have to do something like 80 accelerations every 40 seconds. That ride really, maybe that sucks some life out of me. But this is the part where I really need to be accelerating to get on wheels, and I am just absolutely not feeling it. Even though my MPA is telling me maybe I should be able to kick up to 600, 700 watts. Maybe that's a mental break right there, where I just was not feeling like I had the capacity with the lactic acid, breathing hard, so forth. And I just have to watch everyone go by me. Here at the very back, I do try to get back onto wheels and get in the draft. But even then, it's really hard when you're really putting in an effort to really accelerate and get in the draft, get on wheels and so forth. So, but like I said before, that is really the golden adaptation that can occur, I think, in my opinion, when you're doing that. So here we are approaching City Line and getting fairly close to the end of the ride. So MPA below 400 watts. So, can I put in a kick of 1200 watts right now? Absolutely not. Can I go 1000 watts for 5 seconds right now? Absolutely not. Cannot do that. Don't have the ability at the moment, according to the Xert metrics, and I certainly didn't feel that in the moment. As I watched everyone say goodbye to me, that long, lonely gap that opens up between here and tomorrow, watching your friends roll away as you silently slip into the night. Oh, we'll hear someone. So I wasn't all by myself. But yeah, it was a good ride, and I feel if you don't get dropped every once in a while, maybe you didn't put in a hard enough effort. So I'm fine with it. It's not about ego, it's about having fun, and if your goal is more fitness, then yeah, go so hard that you risk getting dropped, or just go so hard that you do get dropped. Don't save it, keep going. So anyway, this is again a demonstration of what Xert looks like in a real world environment in terms of the MPA playing out in real time. So I don't know how many more of these I'll do. If you like them, let me know. If not, that's okay too. Later.